This country up here is some of the most rugged in the continental United States. This is the top of the world, and it's like the surface of the moon up there in some locations.
It's a rough area to search, but crews have been combing the mountains near Mirror Lake in Summit County. They're using dog teams, ground crews, a chopper, and 135 volunteers. Nearly 200 searchers are braving the elements, rain, hail, and falling temperatures.
It's got to be rain gear.
Boy, it's a steep walk up, I'll tell you.
Crews are searching approximately 4 square miles around Bardsley's campsite, and police say it doesn't appear that he ever made it back to camp.
It really is shocking, the amount of area that we're talking about and the search area that we've got 180 people, but when you're talking about a type of area that size, it's just amazing, really.
It's a lot of area to cover. There's a lot of people out here, but God willing, a lot of prayers, we'll find them.
Police say they haven't found anything of the boys, no clothing, food, or footprints that they can trace back to him. Bardsley's father has been out looking for him, while his mother, who was on a cruise, is now making her way back to Utah.
You know, the family obviously devastated. They're out there looking, doing everything that they can.
It's frightening, it really is. Being lost out here at 12 years old, I can imagine what's going on, and just, I guess generally all we can ask is everybody please just pray for this boy. Let's get him home safe. It's rough and scary out here.
You know, last night it got down into the mid-30s. It's probably going to get down that cold again tonight.
Search and rescue teams from all over the valley joined volunteers to help look for 12-year-old Garrett Bardsley.
These two gentlemen will be your team leaders. Basically, you guys just divide up into teams of 5 each.
The groups took flyers with Garrett's picture to hand out to anyone camping or hiking in the area. They also posted his picture at trailheads.
We're hopeful. We remain, cautiously optimistic, but as time goes on, it becomes less and less likely, unfortunately.
The first 2 days, search teams looked for Garrett as if he could respond and yell back. But by this third day, after rain, hail, and cold temperatures, they believe he may not be able to respond. So they're looking for his clothing or some sign he was in the area.
We look under rocks, we look under, logs, we look anywhere somebody might want to take shelter.
The fishing pole he had was a clear white, and it had a black handle and a black reel. And they have not found that either.
At least a dozen horses scoured the trails and mountain. Some riders brought water and food to the groups to keep them going.
Well, we're just going to be going in and out all day long, taking more and more.
Rescue dogs were also brought in, and an air search included helicopters and a Wasatch County search and rescue plane. Summit County Sheriff Dave Edmonds says children who get lost in the mountains are usually found within 2 miles of their last known location. You can see from this map that area has been saturated, but the volunteers are not giving up.
We're going to continue to search until we find something. We have an obligation to the family and this child out there, and we're going to do everything in our power to bring him home.
Tired and weary after searching for him almost nonstop since Friday, the family of 12-year-old Garrett Bardsley concedes it's unlikely he'll ever be coming home.
This is a great loss for our family right now, but we haven't lost hope yet.
Garrett's family came to thank the search and rescue teams along with the hundreds of volunteers who've been looking for him.
We have never felt such an outpouring of love from our friends, our family, people we don't even know who have come up and looked for Garrett with us.
The question many of us are asking is, how could Garrett get lost? He was only walking from where his group was fishing back to their campsite, which is a very short distance.
About 250 or 300 yards, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you come up in this thick wooded area, it can be a long ways, particularly for a 12-year-old boy.
Searchers fear that Garrett panicked when he discovered he was lost or possibly may have fallen and become injured. Still, searchers believe they've saturated the likely areas he could have gone, but have found nothing. And despite 4 very discouraging days, Garrett's family remains committed to keep looking.
We haven't given up hope.
We don't want to leave Garrett here on this mountain. We want to bring him.
With fresh snow on the nearby mountain peaks, searchers bundled up this morning as they headed out for another day of looking for 12-year-old Garrett Bardsley.
We are now focused on some really steep, rocky, hazardous terrain.
Search teams believe they have scoured the obvious areas Garrett may have gone, and with new information from his family, searchers are looking in areas that could have provided him some shelter.
There's some reason to believe, after talking to Mom, that he may have sheltered in maybe some type of shelter. He kind of went to a class with the scouts and really grasped onto the concept of getting into some shelter if bad weather occurred.
Authorities also admit it's possible that Garrett could have wandered miles and miles away from his camp within the first few hours after he became lost. Helicopters are flying searchers into some of the remote areas to keep them from using their energy just to get to the search area. And the huge response from volunteer searchers prompted Garrett's family yesterday to say thanks.
We have never felt such an outpouring of love from our friends, family, people we don't even know who have come up and looked for Garrett with us.
And the sheriff plans to keep searching for Garrett through the weekend if necessary.
Up until that point, we'll go as far and as hard as we can. And then after that, we'll have a continuous limited search, and we'll never stop looking until we make a find of some kind.
Search teams today are focusing on this boulder field, less than a mile away from where 12-year-old Garrett Bardsley disappeared. And as you can see from Chopper 5, it's very tough terrain for searchers. They are scouring this area after Garrett's mother confirmed a sock found by searchers is his.
It's a Nike anklet sock with the black swoosh on the back.
The sheriff says it would seem logical that Garrett may have taken off his sock since he got his feet wet, and that was the reason he was walking back to camp before he became lost.
We believe it's very possible that he might have sought shelter in that boulder field and crawled up under one of the big rocks or into a crevasse.
While trained searchers are the only ones looking in this area today, Roger and Jim Heath decided to hike where Garrett disappeared just in case they found something new.
I could see where it had to be real easy, especially for a 12-year-old to get lost up here. So I'm back by the lake where they were supposedly fishing at, and just between there and the other lake, Cuberant Lake, which isn't that far away, we got turned around. We actually looked down our GPS, and that told us we were walking in the opposite direction where we should have been going.
I couldn't do it without them. It's been amazing, the support that we've gotten from the community, people I don't even know. There's tons of people that I've never seen before that are up here searching for Garrett.
We just don't want to leave him up on the mountain. We want to bring him home.
A family's desperate search for their 12-year-old son drew more than 500 people to the Uinta Mountains this morning, many of them strangers who felt compelled to help.
In Utah, there's a lot of people that, and probably other states too, that care about youngsters and care about people's families, and it's a real sad situation.
This is day 9 of the search for Garrett Bardsley. Members of his family's ward and stake have participated in the search since Garrett disappeared. The family organized today's effort as the community's response grew. Teams are focusing on the least covered areas.
We still don't want to quit. We haven't found him, but we're spreading out now.
At the same time, hundreds of trained searchers from multiple agencies are also scouring the steep terrain, going over some areas they've searched before. Searchers say it gets more emotional every day. They say it's hard not to think of their own.
I have a daughter, and you go home at night and you're just kind of like, wow, I don't know how I could handle this. And when you come out here, you have a renewed energy just because you understand what the family's really feeling. And it's a little bit more heartbreaking than probably most people would realize.
Garrett's family says their faith helps them cope, and they take comfort in the overwhelming support.
Garrett, in a lot of ways, has touched a lot of people's lives. And that's what makes it a lot easier to deal with this.
We think he would have probably found shelter down lower.
Searchers map out their strategy on the last official day of searching for 12-year-old Garrett Bardsley, who has been missing for 10 days.
It's difficult to say where he's at. At this point, we don't know if he just made a beeline somewhere and is outside the search area, or if he took shelter somewhere and then actually froze. We just don't know what happened at this point, and it's a little bit perplexing, but we do believe that he's out there.
The last 10 days has been physically and emotionally exhausting for search and rescue teams, along with family members and friends who have tried their best to find Garrett.
Very, very frustrating. Why? Because we can't find him. That's our #1 goal, and we can't find him.
The thought of losing a child in the wilderness and then having to leave them behind is bringing out many people today who are here searching for the first time.
What better way to give service than to help somebody find someone that's, the most important part of your life, member of your family.
And after 10 days of searching with resources from airplanes to helicopters to search dogs and hundreds of volunteers, authorities believe they have tried to do everything they could to find Garrett.
We will continue to come up here and search, even if we don't find anything today. We will continue to come up into the mountains and do whatever we can to return Garrett to his family.
Even though Kevin and Heidi Bardsley are devastated with the loss of their 12-year-old son Garrett and had to return home when the official search was called off, they plan to keep looking.
We want to find him wherever or whatever condition he's in. We want to bring him home.
So we're not giving up, and we hope no one else will give up until he's found, so we can put closure to this.
The Bardsleys have been home for the last 3 days, trying to regain their strength from a grueling 10 days of searching themselves and watching as hundreds of volunteers looked for their son but found nothing.
And then when the afternoon rolls around and they're coming in, that was the hard part. And you had to go to bed at night, and that was the hard part.
But it was the incredible response from friends and total strangers that the Bardsleys credit with helping them to go another day.
I don't even know these people, but it's mankind and humanity that you look at, you see this, and this, it gives you hope. It gives you the will to go on.
And the Bardsleys say from that strength they will keep looking for as long as it takes to bring Garrett home. Sam Penrod, Eyewitness News.